Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this one today we are going to talk about IELTS writing. So I will share all the tips and tricks that I know about IELTS writing task, and I hope you find these useful. So let's continue. So let's begin. In this video, we will talk about the writing task structure. I'll talk about the writing task 1 and its 4 types. I give some specific tips related to task 1. Then we would cover writing task 2. I would also share the 2 topics that I got in task 2. Then I'm going to make an attempt to one of the essays that I got. And lastly, I'll share some final tips. Structure would be as follows. Total timing would be 1 hour, and you only get 2 tasks. The types of tasks that you get in this one, task 1 is going to be any of these, either a map, table, chart, or diagram. Task 2 is going to be an essay. For task 1, you need to write at least 150 words in 20 minutes. And for task 2, you need to cover 250 words in 40 minutes. Now in task 1, you can expect any of these. It's very unlikely you get a diagram or a map, but you'd still have to prepare for these. There are high chances you get a chart or table. Now let's cover each one of these separately. Alright, so the first thing that you may get is a chart. When you get a chart, basically it shows some sort of changes over a period of time. For example, in this one, the chart here shows the gross domestic product from IT and service industry of the UK from 1992 to 2000. So bottom line, you can see all the years, and you see that there are 2 service industries given here and a comparison is made. Sometimes the dates are not given, which means you're given only one period, for example, in the year 2023 or in the year 2024. So when you are given dates, you have to be mindful which tense you are going to use in that. Obviously, if the dates are given in past, you will be using past tense to demonstrate. Obviously, when the years are given in past, you will be writing the information in past tense only. Similar to this, the same kind of information can also be given in a table format, so don't get confused. Here is a table which shows information about the underground railway systems in 6 countries. This is the same task where you have to choose the main features and then make comparisons and write at least 150 words on that. Charts and tables are the most common task 1 types. Then we have diagrams. So here's a diagram showing a process of photosynthesis. Provide a summary of the process and the key features of this diagram in at least 150 words. Now what you need to do is describe each state, unlike other types of task 1. When you get a diagram, you should write everything that you see in order to meet your required word count. So I would here cover each stage of the photosynthesis process. Although these are less common tasks in IELTS writing, however, some students still get it. The other less common task, but still sometimes can show up, is a map. Now in map, sometimes you get only 1 map, sometimes you get 2 maps, and sometimes we even get 3 maps. Here in this map, you see that 2 maps of an island are given and a before and after of the construction of some facilities is shown. The tasks remain the same. What you have to do is make a comparison of how the map before is now changed after the construction will be done. So here you have to pick up the key features and probably talk about the layout. Always also check the dates or year if given in the map. For example, in this one, no dates given. Then we talk about the structure of IELTS writing task 1. It always starts with an introduction, or you can say an overview. Then we need to have body paragraph 1. Then you must have a body paragraph 2. And lastly, if required, you can have a body paragraph 3, but this task does not require any conclusion. The body paragraph 3 can be used, let's say, if you are given 3 diagrams or 3 maps, or sometimes in a chart or a table, information or data is given for 3 different countries. Otherwise, you only stick to introduction or overview, body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2, and no conclusion. Remember, you only get 20 minutes for this task and you need to write minimum 150 words. Now let's move on to the 5 top tips that I have for you for task 1. Now here are my 5 tips for this task 1. Firstly, you must write 150 words. If you write any less than 150 words, then you're not meeting the task criteria and you would surely lose marks for that. So do not write any less than 150 words. Second, you must be mindful that you do not give your opinion in this task. You have to give your opinion in task 2, but not for task 1. In none of your sentences, you should show your views or state your opinion about the picture. For example, remember when we have PTE speaking tasks and we're talking about a map or a diagram, and sometimes we talk about how that picture looks to you. Sometimes we say this is a very colorful picture, or sometimes say I like the color used in the picture. Don't do that in the IELTS writing. We are not here to talk about your opinion on this picture. We're only going to talk about the key features given in the picture. Third, find the most important information given in the picture. That can be the highest point or the lowest point, and then you must give a summary of those important things. It's must to cover, especially if you're targeting 7+ band. My 4th tip is to not add any of information which is not given in the picture. So you're only sticking to the data which is provided. Do not add on any external information, even if you know a lot about that process, or even if you possess additional information. For example, we talked about the diagram of photosynthesis. Now you may know a lot about process of photosynthesis and you may have extra additional information about that, but you don't need to write anything about it. You only write what's shown to you and you only write the key features presented in the image. Lastly, use the data given very well. It is provided to you for some reason. So all the information that is given to you, it should be utilized well. And you must not miss any dates or percentages. Now this was it for writing task 1. Now let's move on to task 2 for writing. Okay, so IELTS writing task 2 is an essay task, which is a pretty straightforward task. Now in this task, you're required to write an essay. You're basically going to be asked about your point of view or to discuss some sort of merits or demerits or disadvantages or advantages of a particular situation. Or sometimes the essay would ask you to set some sort of solutions for a given problem. Now you have to write at least 250 words in 40 minutes, and the structure of the essay should be as given. You start with an introduction, then you have your body paragraph 1, then you have body paragraph 2, and finishing it with a conclusion. For the task 2 topics that I got, topic 1 was, recently the modes of education have changed from face-to-face to online. Some people believe this shift is useful for children, while others think it is important for children to go to school. Discuss both the advantages of each method and give your own opinion. The other topic that I got second time was, a lot of people choose to eat instant or ready-made food these days instead of cooking. Do you think it has more merits or demerits? Give your reasons for this answer. Write at least 250 words. Now I've made an attempt on topic task 2 and I will share my answer for this one. I've given 2 body paragraphs in this one and 1 little conclusion, adding it up or to 253 words. Alright, so now let's jump on to some final tips. My first tip is to be very clear about the question. What is the question actually asking you? And for that, I suggest you at least read the question 2 times to understand. Only when you know what is the objective of your essay, then you would be able to write it well. So thinking stage is very important. First tip is to understand the question well, reread the question, be sure of what is being asked, and only then start generating your ideas. Don't be in a rush. Remember, constructing your essay in a logical way, it all comes second. The first step is for you to understand the question well. A lot of times, because there's a pressure of time, we just start writing our essay just when we read the first sentence. Don't do that. Read the full question. Do not start your answer without the planning. Remember, planning your ideas before you're starting to write is very advisable. You need to have a plan or a rough draft about what you would be covering. So once you have your ideas, you've generated some ideas, let's say 4 or 5 ideas, you need to put these ideas together. Form a good structure. For example, I may think in my head that my introduction would be something like that. My first sentence, most of the times, I would paraphrase the question. And then after that, I would probably give 1 line about what my essay would discuss below. So that's how you would decide that what your introduction would be like, what you would write in body paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and what you should be covering in your conclusion. For your conclusion, I suggest do not write any new information. You're only going to summarize what you've discussed above. Alright, the third tip is having a clear opinion. It's very important. Do not beat around the bush. You need to be clear with which side you're going to write your essay for. Are you in the favor of merits or are you in the favor of demerits? That should be clear. There should not be any lines or statements which cause any vague or ambiguity around your answer. While your opinion is clearly stated, I also advise that you choose that side which you're more comfortable to write. For example, you may think you're easy to express your ideas about the merits or advantages, and you think that covering disadvantages might be difficult. So I would say make your opinion in the favor of it. Remember that this essay task is not to test your knowledge. This is only to test your writing skills. So it doesn't matter whether you are in a favor or you're not in a favor of the statement. They're only going to check how you've written or presented your ideas. So these are my final tips for IELTS Writing Task 2. Alright, so if you've watched till now, you've come to the end of this video. That's all I had to share about IELTS Writing Task 1 and 2. If you find this useful, please consider subscribing to my channel and also share it with your friends. Thank you very much.